What is going on, everybody? It's Fade Dating Coach Elliot Scott, and I'm about to give you the secret sauce on how to get a guy to choose you out of all these other women, how to get in a relationship with you, see you as girlfriend material, and toss these other girls to the side. Now, there are several reasons why you might want to watch this video and why you want a guy to believe this, okay? Why you want a guy to see you this way. Number one, it increases your value. Okay, which we all want. It increases your value. The higher your value goes, the easier everything is. Number two, you are more likely, okay, going to be seen as girlfriend material, like I just said, and have him commit. A guy is not going to commit if he does not see you long term. Number three, you're going to destroy your competition. You're not going to have to worry about him talking to other women. You're not going to have to worry about him doing some other BS, playing games, if you do everything I say in this video. And of course, lastly, you're going to have a guy be more consistent. Men are consistent with women they see long term. Men are consistent with women they actually like and want to invest in, obviously, because it benefits them, again, long term. So with all that being said, let's jump right into this. Number one, you have to know how men progress. There is a certain way men like to progress from dating to relationship. Men are not like women where they think, oh, we have good chemistry. I like this person. Let's commit, right? I know it's not that simple for you ladies, but it's a lot more complex for men. So let me give you like a stage progression chart that a man goes through. Number one, obviously, I have to find her attractive. I find her attractive, okay? Number two, I like her. I find her interesting. I want to learn more. Number three, she likes me. There has to be some reciprocity there. There has to be some mutual liking. Number four, she has to be part of my tribe. Then from there, out of all the women in my tribe, number five, out of all the women in my tribe, okay, she's the best option. And then number six, of course, I'm going to commit to her. So the good thing about this list is it tells us already three things we need to get a guy to commit to us, to get a guy to see us long term and not the other women. Number one is I have to like you, find you attractive, or I'll say find you attractive. You have to be part of my tribe, and you have to be the best option of the tribe. Now, listen, before you click away and think, oh shit, that's a lot. How do I even do that? I have a free guide. I have right here, actually. I have a free guide right here. Again, free. Absolutely free, that tells you how to do all that and more. This thing tells you exactly how men think, how men process everything. So if you're interested in wanting to become the best option, to become girlfriend material, for him to find you attractive, for him to want to be, all that stuff, link is down in the description. Check it out, okay? It's really that simple. Number two, you have to understand what I call the universal four-step process, okay? When it comes to dating, from transitioning at least from casual to committed. There's 4 steps. You cannot skip these steps. So the 4 steps are, number one, you actually have to get a date with the guy. The dynamic has to be man-woman, like sexual attraction, interest, dating. It has to be like that, okay? That's number one. Number two, you have to get those dates consistently. Okay, I see you as an intimate person. I see you as someone I'm wanting to get to know. I'm seeing you as someone I like and I want to know more about. Therefore, you have to get the consistency. Number three is, now that I got the consistency, you have to make what you guys have, this consistency, all these dates, you have to make it feel like a relationship. And then once it starts to feel like a relationship, it's going to transition into a relationship, stage 4, okay? Now, why do I have this here? Why is this so important? Because a lot of the times, if it doesn't work out with you ladies, it's because somewhere along these steps, either something skipped or something is not progressing fast enough, okay? Or it's not progressing at all. So let me give you an example on both ends of that. One that you'll like, or one that you won't like, one that he wouldn't like from his perspective, okay? So the first one would be, if you're talking to a guy and you've only been on several dates, That's not consistency. That's several dates. And, you guys are, let's say you guys are already hooked up. You're overpromising, saying shit you guys shouldn't say, talking and texting all the time, doing this, doing that, if you're doing all that, it's going to feel like a relationship, which is stage 3, okay? It's going to feel like a relationship. And once it feels like a relationship, but you're not, like, the brain is not dumb. It knows that there should be, or it feels right, that there should be a certain allotted time. Like, there should be allotted time between getting here to here, between, meeting somebody and wanting to be in a relationship with someone. But if you've only been on 3 dates and you're already like maximizing whatever the hell it is you guys have, and it starts to feel intense, well, what happens? A guy pulls away. He gets in his head. He freaks out. And, obviously it doesn't work out. Another, I guess, example of that would be, well, let's say you guys are on stage 2. So you got the date, you guys get along well, you want to keep it going. So you're now on date 2, date 3, date 4, date 5, date 6, date 7, date 9, 10, right? You're on all these dates. But it's consistent, great, but it's not feeling like a relationship. Who do you think is going to get pissed about that? You are. As a woman, you don't want to invest all your time into a guy and be hopeful along the way and then nothing come of it. I call this the risk, the burden of risk. Like, you're taking on this burden the longer it goes. So I tell women at 2 weeks or 2 months, 2 weeks too fast, but at 2 months, you got to have a talk with the guy. You got to say, hey, listen, homie, like, what's up? And again, why would this make him choose you? Because it's very systematic. Dating is systematic. It's so much better, or more, I guess, mathematical than people think it is. Like, it really is. And there's a lot of women out there who, and trust me, I know, I talk to you guys every day. There's a lot of women out there who don't follow this process, or they don't know how to follow it. They don't know it exists, or even if they did, like, the guy moves it really fast and she goes along with it, and it's in the back of her mind, this whole thing. So she doesn't know, okay? And it ends up blowing up in her face. But you are more likely to get a guy to commit if you go through this 4-stage process. Again, getting the date, getting them consistently where you're building some type of foundation, then you're making it feel like a relationship, and then it transitions into a relationship. If somewhere along the way you're not getting one of these things, or it's not progressing, well, there's a problem. And trust me, he feels it too. If you are to follow this, you will more likely get a guy to commit to you because you're not effing up like the other women. Number 3, this is common sense, but no one does it. You have to create experiences together. You have to be with the guy where you two are trying something new together, or at least something that he hasn't tried, or vice versa, whatever, right? I mean, I think you'll get some effect as a guy. You're like, oh, I've done this, it's really cool, do you want to try it? And then you try it, and again, it builds some type of bond. But everyone talks about, like, you'll see a lot of studies, and there's studies on this too, that's why I brought it up, but you'll see a lot of studies on, like, what makes a relationship last. And you'll hear people talk all the time about sacrifice, willing to endure, problem-solving skills, communication, like all that, which is true. But what people don't talk about, especially in the early stages, when you're going through the dating, courtship, and stuff like that, or maybe even the first several months of actually being a couple, what bonds people together are experiences. And there's many ways to do this. There could actually be things you guys go do and try that you have never done before. For example, it's October. If you guys have never went to a fucking apple orchard and picked apples, or if you guys, or go find a pumpkin and carve pumpkins together, or haunted house, whatever it is, go try all that. If you guys never been to a haunted house, try a really good haunted house in your area. Like that trust me, guys love that shit. Unless he's a bitch and he's scared of stuff. But whatever. That's a really good way to do it. Another good way to do it is, I guess, the vulnerability, the opening up. It's just, this is a little more risky because if you give too much or say too much, or he does, it could create, some emotional, scarring. Like, he'd be like, oh shit, she let out too much. I think she's nuts. Like, not that kind of stuff. But I'm not saying opening up about your exes and your problems and your fears and things like that. But, I'm more of a fan of opening up about your childhood, your relationship with your family, your mom and dad. I don't know, the best times, like memories, nostalgia, like that stuff really works. When people talk about that, I remember I had a girl I was dating, and she was my age, and she was talking about, I actually had a client bring this up too the other day, Homeward Bound, right? And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, no one talks about Homeward Bound. I don't know if you guys ever seen that movie. But no one ever talks about that. Or Three Ninjas. So when we were talking, I was like, okay, this is a cool ass chick. I'm talking about my client now. I was like, yeah, she's cool here. She's bringing up Three Ninjas, Homeward Bound, and all this stuff. I was like, yeah, I don't know, man. It's just stuff like that is really cool. But when I was dating the girl and she talked about Homeward Bound, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, no one talks about that. It was just funny to hear, So again, building experiences, whether that's actually going out there and doing something physical that you guys have never done before, or opening up on different levels. Again, not dumping problems, not being therapist, but just nostalgia, childhood, laughing, memories. Talk about fucking, I don't know, Goosebumps or something, the TV show and the books back in the day. If you're a 90s kid, guys love that shit. So, number 3 is building some type of experience. Number 4, limiting your cost. I was hesitant to put this in here because I feel like, man, this is kind of a harsh way to put it. But I'm going to put a disclaimer out there with this. Number 1, you don't have to be perfect. That is not what I'm saying. Don't even strive for that. That's unrealistic. You will not win that battle. Number 2, everyone has a cost. Everyone has liabilities. So don't beat yourself up over it. But what I'm getting at is, are they logical? Okay? Are they something that you can be that could be maintained? Are they something that destroy relationships? So let me give you a great example of this. There's a lot of clients who come to me and they have a lot of things to offer. Good heart, good woman, attractive, all these great things. But you will see, I see at least, the crazy side of them. And I tell them this, I'm not, this is, half jokingly. But you'll see the cost of it, okay? Meaning, okay, the guy's thinking she's really hot, she's cool, she's fun, but she's so insecure that I have to validate her every second of the day that it's just not worth it. Or long distance could be another one. Hey, I like you, you're great, you just live far away. I can't do long distance again, man. I just can't do it. So there are costs that come involved, or that are involved with a man's decision-making process. If this is going to be harsh to say, but I know a lot of women are going to come to me and say, no, Elliot, that's not what it is. It's not my cost. It's him just not willing to pay the price. If it was my real guy, if it was a real man, if it was my soulmate, he would have no problem doing that. No, that's not how it works. That is not how it works, especially in the frame of this video, or the narrative of this video, which is we're talking to a guy who's not even your boyfriend yet. We're trying to make it so he sees you girlfriend material and not talk to other women, right? So that shit doesn't work. Don't think like that. Just try to limit liabilities that you feel are sabotaging relationships, or like insecurities. Again, I'm not a therapist. I'm not saying just hide it all in there, but you got to be honest with yourself. If it's sabotaging your relationships, that might be a problem. Long distance is another one. Can they work? Absolutely. I got a ton of clients into long distance relationships. However, it is a liability. And the way men think is, especially with, like, let me give you an example. I'm all over the place now. Let me give you an example though. If you and I were dating and I like you, but we're always fighting. We're always fighting every time we're together. We're always fighting. We tried and tried and tried. We're always fighting. But I care about you deeply. But again, always fighting. What ends up going through a guy's mind is, I feel like I can like someone as just as much as her, but not fight. Okay? Like, a guy will always, this is just human nature. We always want to take off the liability when it comes to like best case scenarios. Or again, the attractive woman who is like insecure or needs a lot of validation. A guy will think, I can find a girl who's just as attractive but doesn't need as much validation. And again, I'm not saying be perfect. You can't do that. But you do have to be realistic. men and women both, they look at pros and cons, or assets and liabilities, and they look at, is it worth the cost? At the end of the day, a guy will always ask that, is it worth the cost? And number 5, this is the most logical one, but I have to put it in there because it's absolutely true, is the guy needs to want a relationship. He has to be on the same page as you. Do not be one of those clients of mine who think you're going to change a guy's mind, who think you're that special girl, who think, or who are really hopeful because he treats you well, he's going to transition into a relationship. If you're talking for 2 months, okay, and somewhere along the way he says he's not looking for a relationship, do not stay another 2 months and find out the hard way. Ladies, do not do that. I tell my clients all the time that 60% of the game, right, 60% of the battle is finding a guy who wants a relationship. The other 40% is just playing it out. And, not saying play it correctly, because again, you can't have the perfect game, but, is there chemistry? Are we on the same page? Yes. Do we get along? Do we find each other attractive? Do we have the same morals and values? What are the problems in our, like all that type of stuff. But the other 60% is just finding a guy who's on the same page as you. It's actually pretty easy after that. You just have to get along, like each other, and see where it goes, okay, if the guy's being honest with you. So, again, none of this would matter. Don't even think for a second, ladies, that you can get a guy to only talk to you, to get a guy to commit to you when he's, and drop other women when he's not even looking for a relationship. It can't happen. But again, to sum all this up, ladies, these are the 5 things that I believe are the best way to get a guy to talk to you, only you, and disregard, I guess, other women. And if you want help with that, free, absolutely free. My guy down below. Or if you want to work with yours truly, I have a 3-month package where I am getting you into a relationship. You'll work with me very closely, weekly, unlimited access, everything, okay? And if you do not like the results, I will give you another 3 months for free. That means 6 months of working with me for free. You better bet your ass if you like my videos, and you like the information I'm giving, I'm in your ear now, right? I'm going to be in your ear. I'm going to talk to you all the time. I'm going to get you where you need to be, okay, if you work with me for 6 months. So with that being said, ladies, I love you all. Take care and peace.